NBC4 News at 11.
Right now at 11, police are searching for a 13-year-old they say shot another teen outside a middle school in North Hills. Good evening, everyone. I'm Carolyn Johnson. It happened right before school was letting out for the day. NBC4's Tracy Leong has been on scene since then, and she joins us now live. Tracy.
Yeah, Carolyn, police say the 17-year-old victim was taken to the hospital in stable condition after getting shot in the thigh. As for the 13-year-old shooter, they are not yet in custody. A frightening afternoon for students and parents after a shooting in front of the Sepulveda Middle School campus in North Hills, just as students were being dismissed around 3 Wednesday.
All I heard was the shots, and then I ran outside.
LAPD says the 17-year-old victim was a student from a nearby school. They were walking towards Sepulveda Middle School to pick up their younger sibling when they got into some sort of argument with a 13-year-old teenage boy, who then allegedly shot the 17-year-old in the thigh.
When I was walking out, me and my friend had seen someone, and then we heard just a couple of loud bangs, and then me and my friend just started running, and then we saw a lot of people crowded and everyone started running.
LAPD also says the shooting happened on school property, but not within the school's campus fencing. The school was initially placed on lockdown for about an hour, with many parents waiting outside and worrying as they tried to reach their children.
You never know if it's your kid, especially if they don't answer the phone.
According to a witness, the 13-year-old shooter was a student at Sepulveda Middle School. LAPD is trying to determine when the student obtained the gun and if he was armed while on campus. Detectives recovered a firearm from the scene. It's unclear if it's a ghost gun or if it's registered. They're also investigating whether his parents will face any charges. Students say they're still in disbelief this happened just steps from their school.
I was really nervous and shocked.
LAUSD says they'll have extra staff and mental health resources for students when they return to campus. LAPD and LAUSD PD will have an increased presence here on campus at Sepulveda Middle School out of an abundance of caution. Reporting live in North Hills, Tracy Leong, NBC4 News.
Tracy, thank you. An illegal monopoly that jacked up prices for customers. That was the jury's verdict today against Live Nation and its subsidiary Ticketmaster. Jurors found the company cornered the market, forcing fans to pay higher fees and leaving artists with fewer options for touring. NBC4's Macy Jenkins is live in Beverly Hills with the response from Live Nation and reaction from concertgoers. Macy.
Hi, Carolyn. Well, Live Nation produces more than 50,000 concerts and events across the world every year. Well, today, a jury decided that the company has illegally dominated the industry, negatively affecting concertgoers and artists.
I'm at the point where concerts are not seeing me until these prices get lower.
A major blow in court today for Beverly Hills-based Live Nation, the owner of Ticketmaster, as a jury found the company has operated as a monopoly and overcharged fans for years.
I agree with it. I've been going to shows for a long time, and it's been a very popular complaint amongst my friends and people that I go to shows with, that they upcharge.
The Department of Justice initially filed the lawsuit in 2024, claiming Live Nation used its wide reach to illegally stifle competitors by blocking concert venues from using ticket sellers other than Ticketmaster, which merged with Live Nation in 2010. Wednesday's verdict followed 4 days of deliberations. Lawyers for the states presenting these messages from a Live Nation executive, joking, "I almost feel bad taking advantage of them," and robbing them blind, baby.
Great day for antitrust law. It's a great day for consumers and fans, and it's a great day for the 34 states and District of Columbia who I've been honored to work for on this matter.
The verdict comes after years of complaints over price hikes and technological meltdowns, which made headlines in 2022 ahead of the Taylor Swift Eras Tour. California Attorney General Rob Bonta says he's proud of the outcome and to be a part of the coalition of 34 states that stood up to big corporations using their power to rip off Americans.
What we expected, it's what we hoped for. It was a full, complete victory 11 pages of a jury verdict form where every answer to questions about the liability of Ticketmaster Live Nation was yes.
Live Nation has strongly denied acting as a monopoly and in court argued success is not against the law, instead saying we are fierce competitors. In a statement Wednesday, the company said the jury's verdict is not the last word on this matter. Pending motions will determine whether the liability and damages rulings stand. Last month, the DOJ struck a surprise settlement just days into the antitrust trial, but many states pressed ahead with the proceedings.
The judge now imposes a remedy. That could be anything from breaking up the company to monetary penalties and anything in between.
What do you think should happen to Ticketmaster?
I think that maybe there should be some financial compensation for people who have bought tickets in the past.
Basically, I need a company restructuring, like figure out, like get back to roots of like what music was, like you came to see the show.
Well, today the jury found that Ticketmaster overcharged concert goers by $1.72 per ticket at major concert venues. But Live Nation claims that $1.72 per ticket only applies to 20% of its sales in certain states. This back and forth likely to continue and become very tedious and lengthy as Live Nation appeals the decision in court. Reporting live in Beverly Hills tonight, Macy Jenkins, NBC4 News. Carolyn?
Macy, thank you. And happening now, the LAPD is searching for the burglars who broke into a home in Valley Glen. This comes after 2 burglaries at other properties in the San Fernando Valley last night. NBC4's Darsha Phillips joins us now. Darsha, are they looking for a connection among these crimes?
Yeah, that is definitely the question, Carolyn. If these burglaries are connected, we do not have the answer to that question at this time. But it's definitely concerning for the people who live in this neighborhood. As you mentioned, a number of burglaries happening very close together in time as well in space. There was only just 2 miles away, those burglaries that happened last night. And a neighbor actually told me that there may have been more burglaries in the area over the weekend. We haven't confirmed that with police, but of course, definitely concerning for the folks who live in this neighborhood. Now, this burglary here that happened on Vanscoy Avenue in the Valley Glen neighborhood of North Hollywood happened around 9:30 on the 6800 block of Vanscoy in North Hollywood. Officers were called to the home on reports of a burglary in progress. They called for backup because they believed the thieves were still at the location, but when officers arrived at the house, the burglars had taken off. Police officers telling us that it was a grab and go. No one was home at the time, and it's not clear exactly what the thieves got away with. Now, as you mentioned, just last night, 2 homes near Valley Village, just about 2 miles away from where we are, were burglarized. And we're showing you some video of those 2 homes. Those 2 burglaries happening within minutes of each other. Home surveillance video at one of the homes shows 2 burglars driving off in a dark colored car at one house. At the other house, video there shows a man checking out the home before breaking in. And, you know, when we've covered stories like this, that is definitely the MO of these thieves. They kind of check out the homes before coming in and know when people are there and when they are not at home. Now, at this particular house, no one was at home when this happened, and it's not clear, again, what was taken. And back here live, again, like you mentioned, Carolyn, the big question is if these burglaries are all connected. Again, we are seeing one that happened at the home just behind me here in the Valley Glen neighborhood. There were at least 2 last night, and a neighbor telling me that there were more over the weekend. So residents in this area, around this area, very concerned. They say that they will be locking their doors, keeping their lights on, making sure that no one is breaking in. We'll have much more on this coming up on TLA. For now, that's the latest from the Valley Glen neighborhood of North Hollywood. I'm Darsha Phillips. Carolyn, we'll send it back to you.
Darsha, thank you. New tonight, a missing girl is now safe after being found at a Santa Ana hotel. Multiple agencies led a human trafficking task force and found that 14-year-old at the California Lodge on Bristol Street. She was reported missing in San Diego about a week ago. Her suspected trafficker, a 21-year-old man, he was arrested at the scene. And developing news in Lancaster, where a federal investigation is reaching the highest levels of government. We saw FBI agents searching City Hall today. Neighbors tell us agents also raided the home of the city's vice mayor.
this is the FBI, come out with your hands up. I looked out my window and saw the FBI vehicles and FBI agents with their guns drawn.
The vice mayor has not commented, and the FBI hasn't revealed the nature of their investigation. The mayor of Lancaster tells NBC4 the city has been aware of the investigation for the past 3 years. He says he does not know of any incriminating findings. Now to Decision 2026, as one Democratic candidate for governor is out with his immigration platform, and it is not without controversy. NBC4's Robert Kovacic following this for us from the newsroom, and he has reaction. Robert.
Carolyn, this is drawing a lot of attention. Consider 10 million views on X of Elon Musk's one-word response to Tom Steyer's platform. Wow. We travel tonight to downtown Santa Barbara, where Tom Steyer is not backing down.
ICE is a criminal organization operating in California. Unfortunately, the governor of California, as much as I'd like to, doesn't get to abolish ICE.
Candidate Tom Steyer tonight speaking to NBC4 after a town hall in Santa Barbara, saying he wants California to have the ability to prosecute and possibly imprison ICE agents.
But they can't run wild in our streets. They can't be allowed to do racial profiling. They can't be allowed to commit violence against Californians.
Steyer's immigration platform published today on Substack how California can put ICE in jail. It details that the state must stand up to the federal government and, quote, fight fire with fire, taking on ICE, quote, the same way we took on the mob.
And we're going to stand up for those rights in every instance and insist that they obey the laws of California and that they obey the laws of the United States, which they do not do.
The U.S. Attorney for the Central District of California, Bill Isaley, telling NBC4 tonight, I'm not going to comment on a wannabe politician's desperate attempt to get attention. I simply refer him to the Supremacy Clause of the United States Constitution. That clause, meaning federal law, prevails. Steyer's response?
We have a criminal organization insisting that it has a right to be a criminal organization. No.
Recent campaign ads from opponents point to Tom Steyer's former hedge fund, investing in a private prison company now operating as immigration detention centers. And tonight, Republican candidate Steve Hilton slamming Steyer's plan, stating this is far-left extremism. He is calling for federal agents to be targeted on the streets and thrown in jail for enforcing the law. That is incitement.
Also today on Fox News, the new head of the Department of Homeland Security reiterating Tom Steyer has no authority to abolish ICE. DHS Secretary Mark-Wayne Mullen going on to say ICE agents are, quote, not doing anything outside of the law. In our newsroom, I'm Robert Kovacic. Carolyn, that's the latest from here.
All right, Robert. And still